Hi there, welcome to today's video. I thought for this time it would be fun to show you a day in the life or what a regular homeschooling day looks like for me. And the schedule and routine we go by, more or less how our days go. Throughout my years of motherhood, I have always enjoyed watching day in the life videos because it gives me ideas and things that I could maybe put in practice for my own day. And so I thought maybe you would want to see. No two families are the same, no two days are the same, but maybe some parts of my routine or schedule would help you know how to set up your own day. Because in Proverbs 31, we hear how the woman there, there's a verse that says, she looketh well to the ways of her household. And so part of taking care of our household well, of our home, of our homeschooling, is figuring out a routine or a schedule or something that works for our family. And that's my aim, to try to look well to the ways of my house and take care of it. And I won't figure anyone will follow me, but I might give you some ideas for some part of your day. If you're new here, my name is Melinda. My family and I live in Costa Rica and we homeschool. My oldest is 8, and then I have a 6 and 4 and 2-year-old. 3 girls and a boy. And on this channel, I love to share all things about motherhood, Christian motherhood specifically, homemaking, homeschooling. And if any of that interests you, I welcome you to subscribe to be able to see some of that, as well as glimpses of our life in Costa Rica. So right now, our school schedule here goes from February to November, so we're right about in the middle of the school year. And the last few weeks have gone really well. The first part of the year there was lots of appointments and things, and so we skipped a lot of school days, but the last few weeks we've had a very good routine and schedule and consistency, and it's been so enjoyable. So a few things to mention before I start sharing about my day is I did not want to interrupt in our routine and schedule, so I didn't film the whole day. But I got glimpses and pieces of it that I'll be showing you. And another thing is, not every day is perfect. And I try to go to bed with the house cleaned up so I can wake up with the house cleaned up. But I would not film on one of the more chaotic days where I'd go to bed with the house still in a mess and wake up behind already and everything. But this day happened to be a fairly normal day where I had gotten things done enough the day before that I felt I could share with you. So just keep in mind, if it looks like I have it all put together, there are days I don't. But this is generally the routine we try to stick with from Monday through Friday. Fridays has some differences sometimes because of different reasons, and we don't do the normal school stuff necessarily, we do more extras. But it's still the basic routine of our weekdays. So I invite you to come along. I have always been an early bird, and waking up at 4 in the morning is something I enjoy doing. Not quite every day, not if I get to bed late, but many days I wake up at about 4 in the morning and I start my day with working on the computer because I do some graphic design, some blogging, some videos, and I do not want to do that very much when my children are awake. I do occasionally, but I try to do it when they're sleeping, so that we all know that children, when they see their parents on the computer, is when they feel left out because you're putting your attention somewhere else. It's worse than if you're just working and they're playing around you, because it just simply is. Screens do that. So most mornings I wake up around 4 unless I've gone to bed late, then I skip that section of the day and I start my computer work. And then usually till about 6, or there's 2 or 3 days a week where I've started to go running to try to improve my health and all that. Those days at 5 in the morning I leave, and the day I filmed this happened to be one of those days. I leave with sometimes 1 or 2 of my girls join me, and usually a neighbor, and occasionally I've gone by myself. But I enjoy just getting in some exercise. We have this multi-sport, I think you call it, multi-sport park 5 minutes from home, where I can do running. I'm doing the couch to 5K training, though not quite that fast, but hoping to get to run 5 kilometers in half an hour without stopping. And that's a goal I have for right now. I had surgery earlier this year on an arm I broke, and I will possibly have one later this year to take out the pins and screws, and just many things that I just feel my health needs working on, so I try to prioritize that. And it's the only time I can get away and do it when my husband is still taking care of the children and before they're awake. Because if I take them along, I have to watch them, and I can't really do it. When I take one or two of my daughters along, it's just the 1 or 2 oldest ones, and they run with me. So usually I get back around 6 in the morning on those days, or otherwise other days I quit my computer work at about 6, and it's time to get ready for the day and then to make breakfast. While I'm making breakfast, my husband and children usually go out and feed the hens and dogs and cat, and what else do we have? Rabbits. They take care of the animals, and I make breakfast, and then we all have breakfast. We try to be done with breakfast by 7 so my husband can go to work, but being self-employed, well, you know, there's some flexibility. Usually we're done by 7 with breakfast. And then after he's gone, it's time to get dressed, all the children dressed, get them combed, get the house cleaned up, the dishes done, the laundry started. I do as much as we can. I try to have the house all cleaned up before we go to school, but I don't always manage. And laundry, I try to have it hung out, but I don't always either. So then, especially on rainy season where it doesn't want to dry very well, sometimes I just finish it in the afternoon, hang it up under roof, and just let it be there for a day or two, because we have this overhang that we hang the laundry under most of it. Between 8 and 9, it usually ends up being around 8:30, but sometimes we manage it to be at 8 or sometimes at 9. We head out. Our house is kind of small, and it just seemed kind of hard to get homeschooling done at home, so we have a corner of our church house about 1 kilometer down the road where we do our schooling. And it works just so much better, because while I'm there I can dedicate myself to the children and to their schoolwork and not be worrying about my work that's left unfinished at home. And sometimes the house is cleaned up, but sometimes not. And so we do that next. And once we get there, we start usually with circle time, which is memory work, a Bible story, some flashcards, memory cards, just different things that we all work on together.
Blessed are they that endure God.
Okay, what is Daddy's phone number? A lot of people had come to the Sea of Galilee to be with Jesus. The people pushed closer and closer to hear Jesus talk. They bumped into Jesus so much that he needed more room. So Jesus climbed into a boat on the water and sat in the boat to teach them. Next up, the 2 oldest start with their math, and after that they go on with their language arts or whatever other subjects they need to do in the morning. And then we try to finish up around 11:30 for sure. And then we get lunch made. Usually I have several of the children quite grumpy by then because they're pretty hungry, so I have to hurry and make lunch. I have usually had the meat out in the morning if I can. I sometimes start meat in the crock pot. And then hopefully for sure by 12:30 we're having lunch. My husband usually manages to come home, which is very nice. And then around 1, or when we're done with lunch, I used to about right away go down for quiet time, because I was quite exhausted by the time lunch was done from a morning of running. But lately I've been trying to get the girls to do their dishes and help them get the dishes done first, so that we can go then have quiet time, because then it's just so much more restful to get up. After half an hour of each of them having to play quietly in a separate room usually, and I get to either nap or work on my own projects, about half an hour after that we get up. And then if the dishes are done, then the girls do a lesson of piano. We use Hoffman Academy video lessons. They either watch a video or do some practice, and then I have a read aloud for them where I try to read to them. And then after that, it's the rest of the afternoon is spent trying to do the whatever's top on my to-do list. Sometimes it's baking, sometimes it's sewing. Usually there should be some cleaning that gets done, and that is my weak point, getting the cleaning done. But anything, the top thing on my list, 2 days a week, 2 afternoons a week, I have a neighbor coming over for about an hour so that I can teach her math class because she never got beyond 3rd grade. And sometimes I leave to go visit someone. We have different things, but that's usually the afternoon goes with whatever is most important on the to-do list of any of that. And then around 4 or 5, in dry season, we'd usually go on a walk because by that time the sun's not so hot and it's beautiful and time to go on a walk. We'd go walking down, and then my husband, when he'd come home from work, would bring us out. In rainy season, it's usually raining, so around 4 or 5, I start getting all the children bathed and ready to settle down for the evening. And I get supper made, and then we usually have supper between 6 and 7, some point, the evening meal. And my husband is usually home by then. 2 evenings a week he's gone at this time, 1 for work and 1 for studies. So those evenings I do it myself, but usually we then have after supper and clean up. There's a little bit of time maybe to play as a family. We don't go out very many evenings. We occasionally have an evening activity, but not much. We usually just at home. And at about 7:30 we get the children ready and get them to bed, and then my husband and I have time to do our own things that we need or want to do. And usually I try to be in bed by 9 too, because I'm an early bird. I don't work well in the evenings, and I like to get up early. So that wouldn't work for everyone. I know it seems like there's more night owls than early birds. I don't know why that is, but maybe I'll find some other early birds. No, I know there are some other early birds. Usually in the evening, my husband puts the children to bed. The evenings he is home. It's always something special. I can be finishing cleaning up the kitchen or whatever, hear him reading the Bible to the children and all that. And then I also have time to have my own quiet time. My diary that I've been writing for over, it's nearly 20 years that I've written something for every day. I think I started when I was 11 or 12, maybe 13, but for sure by then. And so I like to write a bit about my day and do some Bible reading just to settle down, because I know a lot of people have their Bible time in the morning and so on, but for me it just seems like in the evening, then when I want to do computer work, I get too overstimulated and can't sleep good. So I prefer to switch it around and have my time with God in the evening. At this season of life, it's not always been like that, and not every day is like that. So I hope that this has given you a glimpse into what my days are like and maybe some ideas for how to structure your day. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments about anything, and I'll try to get back to them in a future video. And that this would be an encouragement to you to look well to the ways of your household and to do your best for your family in whatever season you're in your situation. So may God bless you as you take care of your home and family, and I hope we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
So that's how it comes out.
Yeah. Climbs on, just don't touch its wings.
But how can Daddy get him out?
I have to wait and see.